All righty then. All right, well, guys, I am real excited. It is. Wait, hang on. Let's get the webinar started. There we go. Okay, so welcome to Life's Co-Pilot. We have a guest here for our expert panel today. I'm very excited to introduce you to Ashley Kohlhof. She's with Cozy Coaching Indy, and she's going to be spending some time today going over something that I think is a real important thing that no one ever talks about, and that's like relationship coaching for seniors as they're moving into assisted living. You know, that's quite a major time in someone's life when they're, I think they perceive they're giving up autonomy or what have you. A lot of times they find out they actually have more when they get there, when they have, a lot of things taken off their plate. But what I've heard over and over is those first few weeks are critical in getting the relationship started, getting them out of their apartment, getting them to start socializing and becoming part of the community. And Ashley, I'm very excited to hear what you have to say about it. So I'm going to turn it over to you, let you introduce yourself, who you are, what your coaching company is all about, and then you just roll with it.
Awesome, thanks. So I'll go ahead and start sharing my screen. Have a little welcome here. Are you still able to see me while I share the screen?
I can.
Okay, awesome. So I am Ashley Kohlhof. I am a professional relationship coach who helps people navigate unfamiliar environments and situations to ensure connection with those that we love. Sometimes that also is creating like new connections with friendships as well when we get into those new areas of life. I have been in the profession helping seniors since I was 18, and how I started was actually becoming a certified nursing assistant. I worked on locked units with those who had Alzheimer's and dementia. I then moved to a place called Wellbrook. You might be familiar of that. And I worked at Wellbrook for about a year and a half. And I worked with people who were getting like hip replacements and arm replacements, etc. And I just absolutely loved working with seniors that I ended up here. So I'm really excited to be here today. So thanks, Jim, for the opportunity. So I'll go ahead and move on. I know you were mentioning that, it's those first few weeks, but it's actually the first 3 months that we look at that can really affect someone, because sometimes it doesn't hit until a little bit later for some people. So this slideshow is basically going to be about the benefits of what relationship coaching can do for anybody who is moving from, like you said, feels like they're giving up their autonomy and moving into an assisted living. Also, I can help with families as well, because that is something that also is impacted with the move, with the difference of going from like your own house and like maybe your family members were able to see you daily, and maybe if you had to move a little bit further away, it's a little bit harder. So also able to help with that. So kind of moving on, the statistics of depression and mental illness in the elderly. The organization of WHO says that, depression is the biggest disability in the world, and this affects everybody. It can affect children, adults, adolescents, and specifically seniors, and it can affect them when they're moving. And so in the United States, there's more than 6 million adults over the age of 65 that suffer from depression. So it's about 1 in 4. And this could be any mental illness. This could also be anxiety as well. And what I'd like to kind of highlight is something called RSS. That's relocation stress syndrome. And this kind of happens whenever somebody moves. Let's say you have been living in your home for 10, 15, 20 years, and you're moving to a new place. That could be even if you were to move in with family or an assisted living area, that hits you really hard, because one, you are kind of giving up that home that you have really built and created through many years. You've created so many memories in this home, and giving it up can sometimes be really stressful for a lot of people. And it's a natural feeling. It creates some overwhelm sometimes. Some people experience not only overwhelm, but the anxiety of like giving something up and not being able to return to it. So here are the statistics on the relocation stress syndrome. There we go. Okay, so the relocation stress syndrome is a condition that affects individuals who are forced to move from their familiar surroundings, as I was talking about, to a new environment. So this affects about 40% of seniors within the first 3 months. So sometimes, like I was saying, it doesn't really hit them or the people until a little bit later on. So some people might be right away, that feeling of overwhelm can start before the moving process. It can also hit afterwards. So what it might look like is maybe you are excited to get into this new place. You're going to have help. You have family that will be coming to visit. But once you get in there, it's kind of a lot for anyone. You're moving your stuff in, trying to find the right place for things in this new apartment. It is obviously going to be a lot smaller than your home that you've been living in for how many ever years that might be, and trying to find like the perfect place for like your family pictures or what to take with you as well. So what is relationship coaching? Relationship coaching is a process that helps individuals improve their interpersonal relationships and communication skills. So in this time of a senior's life, normally things that can be affected is communication with family members. Sometimes stress really gets in the way for both the family members and the seniors. And that kind of creates like a little bit of butting heads. And what I do is I kind of come in and I help everybody understand that like what they're feeling is natural, and I help them navigate how to express what they're feeling in a way that is a bit more loving, a little bit more tender as well. So in these moments, a lot of times seniors can feel like they're not being heard. They might be feeling like they're being pushed into this, or they might feel that this is a part of life and it just is what it is. There's many different feelings that really come up here for a lot of seniors. And where I like to help is I like to really come in and, like I said, I like to help the families and the seniors communicate together. I'd like things to work really like mesh together and help people understand like everything is natural. This is a very stressful time. It might be finances that are there that are affecting people and the stress levels. Some other things might just be that getting rid of things. Like we have a lot of memories that are attached to things in our life that we keep, and maybe having to get rid of these or put them in storage and not knowing when we're going to see them again can also create some stress. So relationship coaching can help seniors adjust to their new environment and cope with the stress of relocating. A relationship coach can provide support, guidance, and strategies to help seniors navigate the challenges of moving to an assisted living. This also can be making new friends. A lot of times seniors have their, if they attend church, they have their people that they see at church. They have their family members, maybe their neighbors that they have become accustomed to seeing every day. Making new friends is sometimes pretty hard. It might feel like when you get there that you're new and that everybody already has maybe like their cliques, and trying to fit in might also add to that stress level that they might be feeling. So the benefits of relationship coaching is that we can help seniors adjust to their new environment and reduce the risk of depression and other mental illnesses. So really bringing down that stress will also help with their physical well-being as well. Because as a senior, the depression will have you in bed sometimes. You won't want to get out. That creates a risk for bed sores. Bed sores are really hard to get rid of, and they're very painful for a lot of people. And being able to not be depressed and getting out of your shell, whether it be at like meal times, or maybe it's if you have the ability to go out and eat lunch with others that also live in the community, it really helps like bring you out of your shell. So relationship coaching can also help seniors maintain their independence, dignity, and sense of purpose. This could be by, if they have the ability, doing their own dishes, or maybe it's little items inside their home that kind of bring more purpose, like helping with laundry, or let's see, some others that might come up would be helping with laundry. It could be helping a friend get down to the meal hall. Relationship coaching can help seniors build social connections and create support system within the assisted living facility. This might even mean becoming friends with the nurses. Becoming friends with the nurses is always very helpful. Honestly, if you're friends with the nurses, they'll probably make your day, and they'll enjoy bringing you things. I know I did as a CNA. I would love to bring things to the people that I was watching over. I really enjoyed sharing books. I love sharing TV shows. We would talk a lot. And so it kind of creates like another relationship as well. So the process of relationship coaching is that it typically starts with an assessment of the senior's needs, goals, and challenges. I like to go over that with the senior and also their family. I can do that separately if need be, or I can also do it together if the family would like it to be a team effort. The coach, so I would then work with the seniors to develop a plan of action that includes strategies to help communication, build relationships, and manage stress. I would help go over what I call the 7 levels of energy. It's kind of how we show up on our day-to-day basis, how we view and interact with the world. Sometimes reframing might help. A lot of times this is stressful, and just knowing that you're heard and that someone is there listening to you is really, really helpful. I also enjoy helping people, anything that they might be needing in that time, whether it's resources. I can help with resources as well. I can help with the communication with the family, and also nursing staff. I'm open to doing that as well. So I also will provide ongoing support through those first 3 months, and any guidance to help them achieve their goals and overcome any obstacles. I'll do anything and everything that I possibly can in my power to help meet those goals. It's very important to me that all of my seniors leave, my care happy and feel like they were helped. So relationship coaching can be a pretty valuable resource for seniors who are moving into the assisted living facilities. It can also help them adjust their new environment, reduce the risk of depression and other mental illnesses. Like I said, that will also help with like the possibility of bed sores that might come up, or my brain is striking me just a little bit, but there's also something that happens when we sit too long as people. Basically your muscles will lock up. So, they say motion is lotion, is what I have heard in the senior community. So if you or a loved one is moving into an assisted living facility, consider working with me, and I would love to help make the transition as smooth as possible.
Well, this is excellent. I definitely see. Yeah, and one other thing is, I was sitting here watching this and listening to you. I don't know if you've even thought to do this, but I would think that a lot of communities, especially ones that have, pretty good amount of people coming in on a regular basis, monthly or quarterly, moving in, they could possibly create a group class for you,
Yeah.
for their newbies that are in that first 90 days, 120 days, whatever. That might be a really good opportunity. And then of course they get to meet each other in that group too. And so
Yeah,
that would be
it'd be great to also introduce what we call as ADLs, the activities of daily learning. I would love to do crafts with a group. That would be a really great resource, I think. Not just to bring people together, but also to get their creative juices flowing. It kind of helps with that purpose, like bringing purpose back into life.
Well, one of the things that we do in my workday world is, with caring transitions, we help seniors, predominantly seniors, move into, assisted living, downsize, all that kind of stuff. So we're going through this on a regular basis. And what we love to do is if we have the opportunity to come in, we offer like full scoop services. We'll do everything from, we'll do the sort and organize, we'll do your pack, we'll move you, we'll unpack you, we'll resettle you and decorate your apartment, we'll, help you sell your other stuff off of the estate sales, online auctions, and do clean outs, whatever. We do the whole bit. Not everyone takes the full thing. They may do a smorgasbord. They take it, I'll take this piece and this piece. But the one that I really love it when they allow us to do is when we get to resettle them. Okay, where we get to go in and put everything where it's supposed to be. They'll have brand new clean sheets on their bed. They're going to have all their pictures hung. All the drawers are full. All the cabinets and the dressers, everything's where it's supposed to be and how it's supposed to be. So rather than them living for the first 3 months out of boxes, they're moving in complete, as close to a replication of the house they came from as square footage possibilities. Okay.
Yeah.
And we just moved a lady into a community this last week, and we're in the process of putting the rest of the bows on things that she's doing. We didn't take everything else out of her apartment so that she can go, wait a minute, I still want this or whatever. So we go back and get that. But when she first saw it, it was a reveal. Here's your place. Everything's where it's supposed to be. Everything's done. She has had us move some, one picture from one place to another later,
Yeah,
but
of course, of course.
But what I was so excited was in there to see her yesterday. So she moved in on Thursday. I was back there yesterday, and I ended up taking her down to the dining room. I wheeled her down there, and she already had people picked out to go have dinner with, and new people, and she's been there 3 days. So it was very exciting to see that kind of incursion into the lifestyle, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It is really great thing when it does flow naturally, but it doesn't actually happen with everybody. And so that's kind of like where I come in. But your services to basically unpack and repack everything, and then pack, repack, and then put it where it goes. That's really helpful for their stress for sure. I think moving is stressful for anybody in this situation, or just moving in general as well. So having somebody be able to facilitate that for them be really, really helpful.
It is helpful, and it's one of those things that I've learned some things the hard way before I learned these things. Okay, but just moving our own family. One time we had a family member that we moved, and I grossly underestimated the level of stress from moving out of one apartment to another. Okay, so to me, it really wasn't a move. It was moving from an upstairs apartment to a downstairs apartment in the same building. So I didn't see it as a move. Okay, so I didn't have everything unpacked. There was still stuff in boxes. We were going to get to it later, type thing. It was very functional. It just wasn't buttoned up. And after 27 years in the other one, a massive depression hit. It got very dark. Suicidal, the whole bit. So that was a real wake up call. Then from there, we ended up moving into assisted living. And this time we had everything buttoned up, everything put away, everything decorated. And this individual's been like a rock star there. He's president of the council and all these different things that, so we set him up for failure the first time, not having any idea we were. Okay. We, obviously not doing it on purpose, but then setting him up for success by putting him in a situation where it was as, home as much as possible the minute he walked through the door.
Yeah, it makes sense, especially with it being the first move that you've ever done and facilitated for a family member. It would make a lot of sense that, for us who are pretty able in our day-to-day life, we're a lot younger, we're pretty peppy, even, all the way up to probably like 50, 60 years old, it's really natural for us to just think, oh, like you're just going from here to here. Why is it such a big deal? When it's really hard that first time to step into their shoes and understand exactly like what's going on for them? Like, how is this affecting them? Like, um, what might be adding to the stress? Like you said, you had everything functional for your family member the first move, and there just were a few things that were not put up or put away in a way that made them feel comfortable. So I added to the stress. So it'd make a lot of sense that they would kind of go through that. But I'm really glad that you were able to facilitate the next move and start your business through what I would view as love, like love and compassion for others to help them not have to experience that first time that you experience.
Hang on a second.
No worries.
So yeah, I had my computer brings the phone, anyway. So yeah, but it's one of those things that it's like most people don't know this stuff, and I find myself constantly trying to guide people. And it's usually the kids, trying to tell them that no, this is really something, that unless if you want to do it, fine, you do it. But here's what you need to be getting done to make sure that to lower that stress level. It's because we're not, most of us in our day-to-day lives have no idea that level of stress. They say that it's higher level of stress for that senior moving after the many years in their home than it is when they lose a family, a direct, a family member directly in the inner family part of it. So it's a big deal, but people just don't realize it, so.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that people don't really realize until that they might have been in the shoes themselves. It's something that might be a bit unfortunate, especially for the person that might feel like the victim in that situation. But it's definitely something that through communication and that interpersonal communication that I help provide, making sure that the senior is feeling heard, also family members feeling heard. It's a very stressful time for all, but especially for the seniors that are moving.
Well, I think that, I love the idea what you can do where you can come in and kind of help, guide them through that initial rough spot, get them up and get them,
Yeah,
in a good space there. So now I know you don't just do seniors, you do across the gamut
correct. Mhm.
of coaching.
I also help out families who a lot of times family members. So um basically I like to start with the grandparents and the seniors. There was a lot of times that most of them were raised during like the Great Depression, and there's a lot of stress there. And I can only imagine how hard things used to be for them, raising their children with the mindset that their parents had raised them. And it kind of like trickles down the line, So I like to help families create the whatever might be for them, the perfect family relationship. A lot of times it's hard because we're feeling frustrated and we don't know how to self-regulate our bodies and self-regulate our thoughts. It really is that thoughts are just thoughts, but in those moments when you don't have that self-regulation or you don't have the self-awareness, possibly they feel very powerful. So I help people navigate those thoughts so that way they can create a better relationship through their families. I do also help with dating as well. I do dating of all ages, anywhere from 25 to 65 is generally where I help with dating. Sometimes I have helped a 70-year-old as well. So, it's not unheard of. Just because you're old doesn't mean you can't date.
Seems fair enough. In fact, for a lot of these communities, that seems to be the, more like fraternities and sororities, so, but anyway.
Yeah.
So, well, this is great. Well, so tell me what, have you been seeing I mean, I don't know how long you've been in the coaching side of this. I know that you were working in the assisted living and what have you, but have you seen any changes? I was talking to an associate of mine that is with community hospital in and he basically is involved with the psych side of it. And he was saying that I think it was about a year ago that in the month of April, I think it was, they had 5,000 new phone calls seeking help, and no one can handle that. So are you seeing a lot more people needing help, needing guidance, in today than we have in the past? Or
So I've been in the coaching scene since about 2021.
Okay.
That's when I started my journey with the coaching school IPEC. It's one of the top, it is the top school that you could possibly go to for coaching. From there, I kind of started out with about like life coaching, and I think any areas of life, just people in general are seeing a lot more what we consider catabolic energy, which is a destructive tearing down force. You can kind of think about catabolism, where your cells are basically attacking themselves. What happens really is in your brain, the catabolic it's adrenaline and cortisol are produced basically whenever stress is happening for you, and it starts tearing down your body to create energy to keep pushing forward and basically force yourself through whatever situation might be happening. I like to help create an anabolic experience where my clients are able to basically understand like where that catabolic energy is coming from, basically honor it and be able to enlighten themselves in different ways. But I've definitely seen throughout all of coaching that it's definitely becoming, it's picking up for sure. I have had many people reach out. Sometimes I'm not able to help because I really like to work on like relationships and interpersonal skills, which really start with ourselves. Self-love is comes in many forms. It could be boundaries with ourselves and others. It could be holding ourselves accountable. It can be boundaries, accountability, and then also like that self-regulation as well, like understanding like the self-awareness and self-regulation kind of go hand in hand. But I definitely have seen a lot of people who are seeking out how to create that self-regulation. And normally when we get into that self-regulation piece, that's when they understand that self-awareness comes first. Self-awareness has been definitely on the rise for sure, because they just don't teach it in schools. They don't teach you how to understand your feelings and understand your thoughts, where they might be coming from. A lot of times I deal with people what I call Gales. That's the gremlins. That's the little critic in your head. And basically what it is a little critic in your head, and it happened somewhere between the age of 7 and 14, that something happened to you where now this critic in your head, it now stops you to protect you from trying something new. There's also assumptions, limited beliefs, and interpretations that all kind of play into those scales for catabolic energy. But yeah, I think
head trash, is that what, would that be a terminology you would ever use? That's what we've used in sales for years, like head trash, where you get, your head is.
head trash. I would say head trash would kind of be right alongside that with the terminology. It's really that stuff that just like gets in your head that you just don't think that you can do something. Like for seniors, a lot of times maybe it's that they don't think that they can go down to dinner because maybe they had a fight with a nurse, or they didn't feel like they were being heard, and so they don't want to go out there because they don't want to be rejected.
Yeah, it makes sense. Well, thank you. So what would you basically, if you got someone that's, in the process, they're getting ready to move into a new community, they're getting ready to go through this process, do you have any tips that you would give them to kind of get themselves ready for this? Do it yourself type stuff.
So a few tips that I would say is for the senior themselves, I would say maybe create a list of all of the things that you're kind of expecting, and find out like where your actual boundaries are, like what are your absolute needs. Like maybe your need is that like if you're unable, if you need assistance getting in the shower, make sure you have a plan to talk to the nursing staff about like when you enjoy your showers, because they definitely can put it on the schedule for you to get those at the times that you typically enjoy. Self-care is like a really big thing in the nursing world, so it's something that affects your physical health overall. So I would say definitely create a plan, like a self-care plan while you're in there. A lot of ladies like to go to the hairstylist, so that's one thing that kind of gets overlooked, is asking if they have any hairstylists that come to the center. For the gentlemen, sometimes they like to watch sports, so seeing like basically finding like what are your comforts in your day-to-day life and how can you get them moving forward into your new home.
Excellent. What would you talk about for the family members that are trying to help navigate this whole process?
Definitely breathing. This is a very stressful time, not just for you, but for your senior. It might feel like it's a lot more work for you because you're doing all the physical, like the calls, you're making the calls, you're signing all of the documents, the paperwork. It's a lot. It really is. It's a really big stressful thing for everybody involved. So I would say definitely breathe. I would say figure out what your resources are, because there's so many resources out there. Like I know you offer the ability to basically find almost anything on your website. I think that's a huge thing that people could use in this time. I would also say when you're moving your senior in, talk to them. Ask them, do you feel heard? What would you like assistance with? A lot of times we jump in and we think we know exactly what somebody needs, but what we really should be doing is asking, where can I help you? Or how can I help? Because a lot of times when we jump in and we just start fixing things, it might not be not what they're wanting. And it could actually create more stress.
Well, very good. Well, I have really enjoyed this. I think this is a great opportunity for people to learn more about, because what you do is not the norm. There's not a lot of people out there doing this. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is something that is definitely needed. It's nice that you have the real hands-on experience of working in the communities, before you got into this. So that's huge. So Ashley, thank you so very much for sharing with us. We'll put this on Life's Copilot, and we'll put it on our other we'll send it out of our platforms. I'll give you a copy of it to do with as you please. But
Awesome.
thank you so much for sharing with us today.
Yeah, thanks. And thanks for watching if you're watching.
All right, take care.
All
Bye-bye.
right, thanks. Bye.